So what we have discussed so far in our previous lecture, that we discussed what is data and what are the main scales of data set. And then we discuss about the population and sample, and why inferential statistics is applicable in sample, and when it comes to the population we have the only the descriptive statistics, and then we move towards the parameter and statistic. And today we're going to discuss about how to present your data set, because whether you use a highly sophisticated instrument or you have just conducted a survey, and at the end of your research, what you will going to get is only the data. So when it comes to the statistics, it's a branch that deals with the collection of data, and then it comes to the organization of data, and then presentation of data, and then analysis of data and interpretation. So once you have information, either you conducted a survey, you have carried out an experiment, it does not make any difference. At the end of your research, what you will going to get is data. And now you need to present it. Normally, data is presented either in the form of tables or in the form of diagrams. So you have two options. Either you want to represent your data set in the form of tables, or you just want to go ahead with diagrams. And when it comes to the diagrams, I mean, possible there may be charts and there may be figures. So in order to present your data set, and when we start discussing about all those tables and diagrams, we need to understand one more thing. There are two, we can classify the data set into group and ungrouped data. Can any define what is group and what just if you know what is group data and ungrouped data. Someone has unmuted the mic. If you have any question, just feel comfortable and ask. If you do not have any question, please mute your mic. There is distortion. Whenever you go to the field about an experiment, what have the data is always ungrouped data. Another way to say ungrouped data, it's data in its raw form. You just collected the data set and you did nothing with that specific data set. You never ever treated anything with, you offered no treatment to that data set. So the data in its raw form, we name that the ungrouped data. Just give yourself a little bit time that if you are conducting any study, let's suppose on age group, and you want to show the prevalence of any disease in different age groups. And normally when we carry out a study in our population, we have data from infants to very old people. So you may have in your data set an infant maybe few months old, and it's possible that in your data set you have a person that may have more than 90 years of age. And if I will ask you to just present that data set in the form of a table, and when you are going to present that data set in the form of tables, there may be so many different years that are missing in your data set. You do not have any patient for those years, and there will be years that only have one or few individuals. In that case, if you have that when age range from few months to 90 years, you will have 90 rows in your table. And just think about it, that who will going to read all those 90 rows? Because clinically, when it comes to the biology, for example, an infant that is 1 year old, an infant that is 2 year old, with respect to the disease, there is no much difference in the physiology of that person. They have more or less same immune system. And infant of 1 year old and the 2 year old, they more or less live in the same conditions. So you do not have any logic to describe that difference. So what you need to do is to give some logic to your data set. In order to reduce the reading time, because no one has lots and lots of time, because if you are conducting your research, it's your responsibility to engage the reader or audiences. We need to classify that data set that falls into overlogic. And when we were going to classify any data set, that we name the data that is being classified, we name it as the group data. When it comes to the biology, the more logical explanation could be when you want to classify any data set with respect to the diseases. Okay, we know that infants, they stay at home. So anyone who is less than 4 years can be classified in one group. And then the next group could be a school-going children, that is between 4 to 12. They all more or less have the same immune response. They are living in same conditions. So you have a justification. And then you have a period adolescent group, and then you have the adults. And when you are going to classify that data set, in that case, you will have logic on your background that, okay, the children, they are more susceptible to certain diseases. The old people, that is above than 60, they are more susceptible to certain diseases. So in order to make it read and save time of your reader, you just need to classify the data set. And we use the word group data for that, a data that is being classified into classes and subclasses. So initially, every data is ungrouped data, and later on, a researcher classifies that data set. And when you represent those data set in the form of tables, and your data set is continuous, I'm not talking about the categorical data. Just give yourself a little bit and think about that continuous scales. You have two continuous scales. Either it's an interval scale or a ratio scale. And when you will going to classify your data set, then it will what you are going to have is the group frequency distribution.
Excuse me, sir.
Data set on, yes, please.
Sir, there is some distortion in your voice.
Okay, is it distortion to everyone or is only for you?
For everyone.
Is it for everyone?
Yes,
sir.
there is some distortion.
Okay, in that case, we're going to make a pause for 2 minutes and hopefully we'll have a better internet connectivity. Just give me a couple of minutes.